This is officially the worst episode of Vanguard ever. Why? Because I was hoping for something. I wanted something. From episode 1 of V-Series, there's been one thing I've been hoping we would get to see. And at no point did the opportunity for that thing arise, which I accepted. I accepted the decision not to give us this. I understood why we didn't get it. But this episode, we had the chance, man. We had it right there in front of us. We had the chance for Naked Misaki. We got it in like the first 3 seasons of the original show. Okay, like 2. And then once in V. Yeah, she's wearing a swimsuit, but look, I clearly don't get out enough. I can use my imagination just fine. This franchise talks about imagination a lot. Let me use it for something that frickin' counts, man. And now, yes, many of you may be saying, oh, you weren't promised this. I see a bunch of guys going into the bath. I demand equal time for the ladies for, equality reasons. And also some of you may be saying, oh, but Kevin, that's what Google's for. Well, you know what? Do you have any idea what the ratio of Naked Misaki to Naked Aichi and stuff being inserted into certain orifices of his is on the internet? It ain't good in my favor. Yeah, that's the truth. I'm not a role model, people. Oh, you're all here to hear me talk about the actual episode, not my personal feelings. Anyways, so yeah, this episode kind of was played off as the comic relief one. We've had a lot of funniness this season, but this episode was definitely focused more on taking 20 minutes to remind us of the fun aspects of the show. It took time to remind us of the characters, give us glimpses into their backstories, give us just some time with them having fun. Give us moments of just them with each other. That bit in the hotel at night where they're just sort of calming each other is a really nice little bit, reminding us Ren is a goofball and Tetsu is kind of the guy who reluctantly or willingly sometimes takes care of him, reminding us that what's-his-face, Morikawa is a hothead. All these little things are just fun bits you just kind of want to watch with these characters, especially because obviously with next round going up against Kyan team and then from their Renan team and then probably from their big climax insanity, this was probably our last chance to really get in some final fun. So I quite appreciate that aspect of it. I do think, though, it kind of leads to some awkwardness. Before I get into that, I just remember this. Highlights of the comedy hat. Besides the 2 bits I mentioned, I love emo crazy dude just admitting in his head he's a lonely loser. That was fun. It's so tragically sad, I kind of can't help but love it. I also love Kamui basically being reminded he's a little shit who will never end up with Emmy. Little bits like that. I like Shin and Mark's scene. I don't know why that made me laugh. I have no reason to care that they know each other. And I've seen V-Series G. I know they have a history, but who cares? Who really fucking cares? But they figured out a way to make it entertaining here. Then we move on to... I'll just go in order. The main sort of bit in this episode is Naoki bumping into Ibuki and then them sort of having this sparked rivalry where Ibuki is like, oh, he doesn't remember because things the audience knows because it's the main fucking plot of the show, so why do we need a reminder of it? Yeah, I kind of thought that scene maybe went on a little too long, but also the other weird thing about it, why would Ibuki think Naoki would like him? Like, here's the thing, yeah, they kind of helped each other at the end, but Ibuki was still a dick for the entire season. I feel like Naoki would not want to be around him and would still probably be angry at him, but whatever on that. But no, that's a cute little rivalry that spawned up, and I kind of like the idea of 2 characters who have had very little interaction and just kind of one moment changes kind of the way you view their dynamic, and I think it's sort of cool they went and did that. But after that, I kind of felt like we maybe got a bit of a weakness to the way they've handled this tournament arc. You see, the thing about tournament arcs that make them fun is that you can take 10 or 12 episodes and just kind of dedicate them to watching characters kind of deal with problems they don't normally deal with. We get to see interesting aspects of that world. We get to see different powers at play. In this case, we get to see different decks at play. But here they didn't do that. And even though I think ultimately that is the right decision because of the pacing of the episodes, it does kind of leave me wanting a little bit more. I'd like to see an interesting fight where, I know I always joke about Tachi's, but why not see Gear Chronicle? Why not see Genesis? Like, why not take this time to sort of give us a few minutes? Maybe do just a filler episode where Masaki and the magenta-haired chick bond or something like that. Why not do that? I know the show goes at a fast pace, but I would kind of like that, especially because on the way the episode goes, and this is sort of what I was about to get into a couple minutes ago, what sort of makes it not work is that it kind of feels like when they did show a little bit of fights, it just kind of felt awkwardly put in there. Not the bits where we just could see everyone's ace monsters kicking ass. I mean in particularly when Ibuki and crew face off against Mamoru and crew. Now there is stuff I like about what little we get. Just seeing these characters again is fun. But the thing about the way this whole thing goes, and it is sad when they lose, because, well, I know there's a train. I'm not recording. This is my third time recording, damn it. I'm not stopping. I'm tired. I want ice cream. But the thing about that is, it sort of felt like they weren't really sure when they were constructing the episode either how many episodes they get or how much time they get on one thing, because we spent a long ass time on that damage trigger check, and it's not very effective drama because we know Ibuki and crew have to make it to the finals because, well, they are more relevant to the plot. So when you just hold on it for that long, it kind of makes the whole thing feel awkward and makes me wonder, was there a point when they were plotting the season out where we would see this whole fight? And I'd kind of like to see it because, well, we just saw these decks all get support, or at least a bunch of them, and I'd kind of like to see it. I'd love to see the new D-Police in action on the anime, or the Grand Blue get a bit. I assumed we would get that this arc, but, well, we didn't. And in exchange, it sort of makes you just kind of longing. Now, I know this is maybe me kind of wanting the show to be a little bit more than it actually is, but I feel like kind of wanting some different card fights besides just the same 8 or 9 characters, I think would be a little more fun. I'm not necessarily criticizing the episode, but I just feel like it kind of puts you in an awkward spot. Oh yeah, speaking of awkward spot, I almost forgot to mention this other funny thing. I love the MC's reaction to Leon talking about the wind, and the two girls being like, oh, you should just accept it. He's just kind of like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? Because that's how a real person would react, and it kind of makes you relate to the story more when you realize, oh, there's actual humans in this. So yeah, that was that. The one thing I did really like, and it's something that, if you're not careful, you'll miss why it's so important. I love Ibuki sympathizing with Mamoru at the end of the fight, because Mamoru in both G and this is supposed to be this just nice, down-to-earth dude who just loves Vanguard, and we all go up against that guy at some point in a tournament when it's the make-it-or-break-it round, and when you beat them, it does feel a little sour. Like, you do feel sorry for the guy, and you do kind of want to be like, sorry, dude. And Ibuki did that, and that's such a good moment of character growth, because it shows him being able to understand why Vanguard fighters are the way they are, and why they think the way they are, and it shows he's more willing to share his emotions. If this was, like, even last episode, Ibuki would have been like, fuck you, go away. But he didn't. He wanted to take that moment to say to the guy, I get what you feel, but I still gotta win anyways. So that's a nice bit, so the episode definitely recovers. Again, like I said, I just kind of would like to maybe see some more, difference in the fights, especially considering the next several episodes will presumably all consist of decks we've seen before. I mean, they'll be showing off the new stuff, but, you know, I kind of would like to see some of the less represented clans get their 5 minutes of fame, even if it's only to lose to a more important character. But that's that. Oh, and last final thing. We got to see a bit of Corrin's new Gold Paladin Nick. What the hell are you doing, girl? You don't play 4, Gareth. You play, like, 2 at most. And also, why are you playing 4 Platina? No. You don't have that kind of space. It's 4 Azel, 2 Platina, 2 Ravenhair. Or so I assume. I haven't printed proxies to start testing yet. But we'll get to that. Oh, we will get to that, girl. Anyways, last thing, of course, obviously, the Vanguard question of the week. So this past weekend was the Heroic Evolution sneak peek, which, confession to make, that's where I was last night instead of watching the episode. So are you ready to integrate the new imaginary gifts into your decks? Because I think that's a very important question. Because I'm telling you all right now, I was testing out Force 2 and Royals, not that Majesty Lord Blaster bullshit. I was playing it in real Royals, where you just set up Monarch Alfred, have a fuck ton of columns over 20k, and just have fun. And let me tell you something, having 3 crits on each, or having a crit on each column going into the battle phase is very fun. At least for me. But tell me about that below. And as always, click to like, click subscribe, and join me next week for Aichi v Kai, like the second time. Or, no, third time. These two don't fight that much.